Hey guys, it's Triptych. Today we're going to be doing a review for the new game from Area Games. It's going to be an MOBA arena with a Dota style. It is called Realm of the Titans, but does this game have the chops to measure up to some of the genre's leaders such as League of Legends and Heroes of Newerth? Okay, let's start this game off right at the menu system. If we look here, the game goes full screen as soon as you start it up. It has a store, but currently not accessible because it is a closed beta. And if you look, it keeps track of your wins, losses, and leaves. Pretty standard stuff. It also gives you a rating, so really the only mode is ranked. And it also has tabs for your sort of summoner spells, and those are called Titan abilities, I believe. And your champions. Now, if you look in the champions, one thing I really enjoy about this game is the champions themselves. Not how they play, really, but just the style. There's a lot more beasts and stuff that, like horse riders and all these really cool things. Like we have this giant fish guy that throws like tidal waves and stuff. Some sort of jungle guy, and it's just, there's a lot more variation from your standard humanoids that you see a lot in games like League of Legends. How these champions play is a completely different matter. We'll talk about gameplay later, but as far as this menu system goes, the pre-game, I would say, is on par or better than the other games we see in this genre. I jumped into one of my first games and was pleased to see the game has built-in replay support. This is something we see, I believe Heroes of Newerth has it, but I am not quite sure on that. But something that the LoL community has wanted for a while and never received. So this is a major perk for me, as I do enjoy recording games, and using a third-party program is not very enjoyable. So this allows you to sort of, it's a lot like StarCraft 2, if you've ever seen that replay system. It's going to allow you to show the game from different perspectives of different teams and players. And just sort of, something like this really gives the game a new community, as there's going to be the ability to sort of cast games and share replays with one another. There's also the feature, if you have friends in the game, you can watch their games live. Now, I'm not sure how this works since I don't have any friends that play this game, but it looks promising. If that is a feature that is well integrated, that's just fantastic if they have that in this game. I'd like to talk about the game's visuals for a second. If you look, they're quite pretty. I'm not gonna lie. There's sort of the one team that's this sort of evil lava-like team. Each team has their own bosses in the top left, but I'll talk about those in a second. And yeah, it just looks really nice. It has a nice water system. When you walk through the water sort of ripples around you. And overall, the effects just look really nice. But this is all to be expected. This game is brand new and only in closed beta. When we take a listen to the audio, the character narration is mediocre, but when we look at when you're going to be scoring double kills and triple kills and mega kills, monster kills, quad kills, all the kills you could imagine, you're going to be hearing some of that great sort of Counter-Strike-esque voice with, I don't want to imitate it because I'll make a fool of myself more than I usually do. But yeah, it's really enjoyable. It makes getting a double kill, a triple kill really fulfilling, and you really get that nice rumblies in your tummy. Not the game. It sort of feels I don't even know what the word to describe it. I guess it feels clunky. I mean, when I'm using a skill shot champion, I find it very difficult to land my skill shots. It might just because it's different than LoL, but more than that, I believe the game's just, see right there, I'm trying to jump that guy, but the game, it's just not that smooth the way it plays through. And sorry, I'm going to be harping on the negatives first, but another thing I do not like at all is each character has passives, but they're not built in. So pretty much one of every character's abilities is going to be a passive, but when you only have 4 abilities and one of those is a passive with no active, it really does not give you a lot of abilities to choose from when you're in that fight. Now, I'm going to roll this clip one more time. Now I just want to show you guys something. Some of the abilities in this game, they look and sort of feel this really unique, phenomenal. I don't want to use the word phenomenal, but it's really awesome. That's the least to say. See this ability with this character? You fire this giant dragon, and the dragon goes back and forth about 6 times, trying to hit the enemy, but it is sort of slower, so it gives it a lot of I don't know, it just feels like a really nice, unique ability. As far as like items and character customization goes, a lot of it is really, if anybody's played the old Dota, original on Warcraft 3, not the original, but Dota All-Stars, the way the items work and all that is very similar to that, so it does not. The one thing I hate about that is that your casters aren't really going to be scaling very well into late game due to the lack of an ability power stat that favors them. They did take a couple tweaks with the 3 attributes to make them better rounded, I would say, but other than that, I'm not a huge fan of the way stats work. I just want to touch on one more thing real quick. They have this, instead of summoner abilities, you get what's called a Titan ability. Now it upgrades every 10 minutes and you can change it, I believe it's every 3 or 4. But you can change it mid game, and some of them are like heal and stuff, so it really gives you a lot of situational sort of adaptations you can do. But other than that, let's get to the final verdict. Before I release the final verdict, I would just like to say a lot of this is opinion based, just on my experiences. Some things I experience may not be true when the full game comes out, but as far as this beta goes right now, I am going to have to give it a 7 out of 10. The reason I gave it a 7 out of 10 is I find that, like I said before, the game feels a little bit clunky and skills don't launch as well as they should. And I don't like how, and I also am not really a fan of how the items and stuff work. On a positive note, though, the game does look great. I'm not a huge fan of these splash arts, but the champions look, I'm going to call them champions. The champions look great. They're all pretty original. Well, they're more towards the original Dota, but there's just a lot of sort of non-humanoid characters to play as, which really spunks it up. But other than that, hopefully you found this enlightening, whether or not you're gonna play this game. And even if you're not a huge fan of the Dota series, I would encourage you to try it. It is a lot of fun. And thank you.